Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode. We are back today on the back of the loss in the Super Cup. As you can see there, losing on penalties to VfL Wolfsburg. Of course, we kicked off the new season in the previous episode with 5 new signings for the squad. But as you can see there, Bisek, one of those new signings, going down injured, and we'll find out how bad the injury is. And he's going to be out for around a month. Well, we've got about 2 weeks until the new season starts, so he's only probably going to miss 2, maybe 3 games at most. But bit of bad news as the new man has a slight setback after joining the club. So you will have just seen a bit of an overview of the transfer window so far. 4 departures, but only really 3, with one of them being a loan, and 5 new signings coming in, 2 of those being freebies. So it's not been quite as much of a manic window. We've got about 2 weeks until our opening Bundesliga game of the season at the Allianz against Hamburg, and about 3 weeks until the transfer window slams shut. So we'll definitely play a few of the opening fixtures here and close out the window in today's episode. We've got around 40 million left in the budget, so I would expect 1 and maybe 2 more signings before the window does slam closed. Well, we've just received a bit of an interesting bid here for Maurice Krattenmarker, wanted by Inter Milan, so a big European giant, and we've already sold Lovro Zvonarek, but I'm not against selling this guy. We've got Musiala and Uzun, of course, and I actually really like Merlin in a slightly more advanced kind of attacking midfield role, so we've definitely got enough cover. If he wants to go, then I'm happy to sell, as I've got a replacement lined up. Well, a few more bids coming in here from the Premier League for both of our fullbacks. Villa wanting Sasha Boe, but that's definitely not happening. And Alphonso Davies wanted by Liverpool. I could definitely see this one happening in real life, but the fact that he stayed here throughout the whole course of the save, and he is our vice captain, I'm going to turn that one down and keep Fonzie at the club. And there is the deal for Krattenmarker going through. I did also accept a bid from Brentford, and that's where he's chosen to go. So he's gone to the Premier League, which actually gets us a little bit more money, as I did negotiate a £25 million sale. So he's chosen the Premier League side over Inter Milan, and that brings our budget up to around about 60 million. Well, a few more bids this time from the Serie A. One for Merlin, who we just discussed, but I'm not letting him go. Definitely want to see him get a bit more football this season. And also a big bid from Napoli for Michael Olise, but we discussed him before. He's not going anywhere. Definitely want to keep the Frenchman at the club. So we have made it to match day 1 of the Bundesliga season. I'm actually, my maths is terrible, it's nothing new. Brings our budget up to around 75 million with the sale of Krattenmarker. But I think for the time being, I'm just going to jump straight into the game. We've got about a week left in the window, so we'll maybe look to make a new signing after this game. But I'm happy with the squad, happy to crack on into the new campaign, and looking to get a victory, of course, on match day 1 of the new season as we look to defend our Bundesliga crown. Auf geht's, die Rotten. So off and underway on match day 1 of the new season, and as I mentioned in the intro, looking to reclaim our title that we clinched last year. And I'd say probably at this moment, without a ball being kicked, I'd probably have us as favourites to do so, with the summer transfer window that we've had, the squad that we've got, how dominant we were last year. I'd say we're probably favourites, but of course there are lots of other good teams in the Bundesliga, as Lopez would have been a dream start for the new man, giving him the nod today over Luna, and that was a lovely little move. Corner swung into Inacio, has headed back out towards Elise and cleared by Hamburg, but good early pressure from Bayern. Of course, we set that defensive record last season as well, with just 9 goals conceded, and I definitely think compared to our time at Southampton, where, okay, we were still very good defensively, just because I think it's quite easy to defend in this year's game, but I mean, that season last year with Bayern was absolutely unbelievable, and to be honest, this year I wouldn't be surprised if we do a similar sort of thing. I'm not saying we'll be under 10 goals conceded again, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is around that number. And now Elise, it's been all Bayern pressure as Musiala slides through Lopez, and that's a Big save by the Hamburg keeper. Backer's going to keep that in play and find Elise, and we're slicing through pretty easily here. Elise goes on the outside and finds Lopez. This time maybe, no, denied once again by the keeper. Fonzie's done well there, and Lopez finds him again, and Musiala, look at the space for Bakker, and back to Jamal Musiala, saved, and Elise can't quite get there, but this time does drill in the opening goal, and that has been coming for the opening half an hour. Bayern Munich completely in control, knocking on the door, and now we have our breakthrough. Well, just kicking off in the second half, and we've definitely deserved our lead. Been much the better side, and we've been comfortable as well. Hamburg have offered nothing really going forward, but we just need that second goal just to kill the game off, and this will be a lovely move if Bakker can finish it off, which of course he can. And on match day 1 of the new season, he is off and underway with his goal scoring. Golden Boot winner last campaign, and he's looking to win back-to-back and off to the perfect start. Ronnie allowed to come a long way. Oh my goodness. Well, I don't really know what to say about that, guys. I'll be honest, guys, I was maybe holding on to the ball for a little bit too long then, trying to recreate the halfway line goal that we scored back in our Girona save with Julian Agarizabala, where the goalkeeper was out of net, and when that drop kick or the drop ball took place and it came to Ronnie, I was like, if I take this a couple of yards further forward, we might be able to have a go on goal. Turns out he was closed down pretty quickly, and Hamburg get the goal back. But Musiala restores the 2-goal lead with an instant response, and yeah, the 3 points are most certainly in the bag from here. Well, there is the whistle, guys, and as I said, a pretty comfortable victory for Bayern Munich on match day 1, as you would expect at home to a side that finished just above the relegation zone last season. But I'm frustrated we threw away the clean sheet, but happy with the performance, because from minute 1 we were absolutely on it. Just took us half an hour to get the breakthrough, but a comfortable win to kick off the new campaign, and we've already put that loss in the German Super Cup behind us. Well, with 75.5 million in the budget and about a week left on, or in the transfer window, sorry, I think I'm going to go after the midfield replacement. Now, it's not a direct replacement for Krattenmarker, who was more of an attacking midfielder. But as I mentioned, I think that Merlin can play slightly further forward, which is why I'm going after this man, Alexander Pavlovic, a Bayern Munich Youth Academy graduate. He's been with the club since a kid, I think. He's been there for quite a long time. More of a sort of deep-lying playmaker, kind of in that Kovacevic role. And although we have got a lot of cover in that midfield area, since moving to Bayern Munich, I knew I wanted to go after this guy and bring him back, because he's starting to make a bit of a name for himself in real life. You can see from the stats, he's really sort of well balanced, really good passing, really good physical stats, and he's good defensively as well. But I love the high stamina, as I say, physically absolutely fantastic, high vision, really good long pass and short pass, and yeah, I've had my eye on him since we moved to Bayern, so it's time to bring him back home. So Pavlovic does have a release clause of 66.6 million, but I don't think we'll have to pay that much for him. There is every chance that Atalanta just say, well, we're not selling unless you trigger that release clause. So we're going to have to barter a bit with them here, but I don't think we'll have to pay too much more than 50 to 55 million for him. And yeah, I reckon we can get them a little bit lower. We might end up paying, as I say, about 50 million for them. We'll go 48.5, 50.5. Let's even that out at 50. And we have got a deal. Leaves us with around 25 million left to spend if we do decide we will want to bring anyone in on deadline day. So Pavlovic is in for 50 million. It's a 4-year, 85 grand a week deal. I've given him his number 45 jersey that he wears in real life. And as I mentioned, he's just very, very well rounded, very well balanced. And he's more of a sort of long-term replacement for Konrad Laimer. He can probably do a job at fullback similarly to Laimer if he needed to. So with the Austrian starting to decrease in his stats pretty rapidly, we probably won't see as much of him this year, and that allows Alexander Pavlovic to step into midfield when we need him. Well, after the signing of Pavlovic, we've made it to match day 2, and it's actually being played on the 31st of August, which is of course deadline day. So we'll crack on with the game before potentially making one more signing to close out the window. But taking on Frankfurt away from home, we disposed of them pretty easily here last season with a comprehensive 3-0 victory, and I'm pretty sure we were like 3-0 up in the first half an hour or so. So we're looking for another 3 points on the board here to continue our 100% start to the season. Auf geht's, die rotten. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident about this one due to the history of the fixture since moving to Germany, but also I've mentioned it a few times in this 3-4-3 that Frankfurt line up in, and a few other teams in Germany as well. I find it so easy to play through the lines, and there is Musiala, finds Mensah and Bakker through the gap, and Lopez with the strike pushed away. But you can see already in the early stages there's so much space to play through. Malero down the left for Frankfurt, and of course with such an attacking system it means they do hold a threat going the other way as Banza forces the save from Ronnie Schumacher. And whilst we've had a lot of the possession and territory, we've not really caused too many issues for Marcin Bulka in the Frankfurt goal. But wait a minute, what's going on here? Musiala races away and opens the scoring. Where is that Frankfurt defence? And they just parted like the Red Sea. Nobody left back. And Musiala runs half the length of the pitch and smashes past the pole to give us the lead. Well, such a strange goal to concede right on the stroke of the half from Frankfurt. I know they have a corner, but leaving one man back and on the complete other side of the pitch to our attackers that we've left forward. Very strange when there's just a minute left to play in the first half. But we'll take that all day long. Jamal Musiala with his second goal of the season in as many games. And we lead here away from home in Frankfurt. Oh, this is much better from Frankfurt. Malero looks to cross early. Sasha does well. But Malero gets there first, crosses into Hugo. And, well, from quite a difficult angle, he gets the header on goal. And Ronnie has to turn it away. Still looking for a second goal here as Sem Bakker played through. You cannot give this man that much time and space. And this is what I mean about that 3 at the back system. If you're going to back off and give people like Musiala and Sem Bakker room, then you're going to get punished. Well, it's all over here in Frankfurt. Our first away day of the season and our first 3 points on the board away from home as well. A pretty comfortable win once again, just due to the system that Frankfurt set up in. Musiala gets his second goal of the season in as many games, and Bayern Munich make it 2 wins from 2 to kick off the perfect start to our title defence. Well, guys, we have made it to transfer deadline day straight after that fixture, and what have we got left in the budget? 21.5, I would assume. Yeah, 21.5 million. So we may look to bring one more player in at most. I'm expecting we'll probably get quite a few bids, as we always do, but I'm definitely not looking to shift anyone on, but we may potentially see one more incoming. So I'm just going to straight away go after the signing, and the area of the pitch I'm looking at is left back. We've got a few names on the shortlist. David Raum is there, although I'm not sure we're going to have enough money to bring him in. Alvaro Soraya, again, not sure we're going to have enough to bring that guy in. Looks really good. Nazajevic has just gone to Borussia Dortmund, and Kabar has also just moved on to Real Betis. But the other man that I've got on the shortlist, I have discussed him. Jan-Niklas Bester is 31 years of age now, but within the budget, currently still at Benfica in the save. Love the aesthetic on this man. What a beard. And the German has been linked in real life with a move back to the Bundesliga. Can play in a whole host of positions, including left back, which may not be his primary position, but I actually think he would be pretty good there as like an attacking wing back. He's not so good defensively, but he's quick, high stamina to get up and down. And of course, he is more of an attacker than he is a defender. So if we are chasing a game, chucking him on at left back and giving it some extra support down that left-hand side, I think it's just quite a cool signing. So going to go after Jan-Niklas Bester as our deadline day signing, and we should get him for close to that market valuation. Going to go in initially at, I think, 16 million for Bester. See what Benfica's saying. They want a straight swap for Gabriel Vidovic, which, no, that is not going to happen, Bruno. Pension bars filled up quite a lot. We'll go 16.5 million. And Bruno Larger says, yep, happy to agree at the market valuation of 16.5. So Jan-Niklas is in for 16.5 million. It's a 2-year, 50 grand a week contract. And I really like that signing. Just more of a sort of squad player. But again, someone that can play in a multitude of positions. He's still actually getting better at 31 as well. Still considered to be in his peak. So I think that's a really, really smart bit of business picking him up on deadline day. But that will most likely conclude our business. So we'll sim through the remaining hours and we'll take a look at the biggest deals of deadline day. Well, that will do it for transfer deadline day. As you see the top deals there, Kramer, a regen, joining Napoli from Lyon for 94.3 million. Fernandez has left the Premier League with Fulham to join Inter Milan. Big move for him for 72.1. And Victor Gyökeres, interesting career path in this save. Moved from West Ham now to Sevilla for 55.7 million. But that is going to do it for transfer deadline day as we sim through the final hour. And I believe as we head into September, we should also see the draw for the Champions League as well. Well, I believe, as I say, the draw has been made, and yes, there is, although, to be honest, I find it easier going through the calendar nowadays to find the draw. I miss the old-fashioned group stage draws, but let's take a look at our fixtures. So we kick off with Tottenham away from home, which I will look to squeeze into today's video. We've got Paris Saint-Germain away from home in early October, with Atletico Madrid at the Allianz as well. So 3 really tough games to kick off. Then we have Galatasaray and RC Lens both at home in November. December sees us taking on AC Milan at home, and our final 2 fixtures in January a little bit easier, taking on Club Brugge and Bodo Glimt both away from home. So yeah, there's some tricky games in there. I'm not sure it's quite as hard as our draw that we had last year, and we managed to finish second in the league phase. So I definitely expect us to be finishing in that top 8 that will see us head straight through to the last 16. And of course this year the Champions League is the one that we are really going after. But a big game coming next as the top 2 face off each other in an early Der Klassiker. Bayern Munich taking on Dortmund at the Allianz. Both teams 2 wins from 2 and 5 goals scored and just 1 conceded in the opening 2 as well. So identical records as 2 of Germany's biggest sides face off against each other at the Allianz. Auf geht's, die rotten. Yep, underway in match day 3, and it's a big early season clash. As I said, every sort of the Klassiker game is a big one, but Yeah, it's obviously when there's a lot more riding on it. If it's a later stage of the season, then there's a lot more sort of hype around it. But every time these two face off against one another, it's a big fixture. Of course, we played out that pretty dull 0-0 towards the end of last season. That was the latest instalment of Der Klassiker, and it was a pretty awful game. So I'm hoping, and I'm sure all the neutrals will be hoping for a better game here as well today. Wow. Oh, what a ball through. Oh, and Maya brings him down. Is that outside? No, it's inside. And what colour is the card for Matteo Maya? It's red. And Bayern Munich down to 10 inside the opening 20 minutes. Well, I did try and pull him back, hoping it was going to be outside the area. But it's inside. It's a penalty. And Fahl has the chance to give Dortmund the lead. And Ronnie goes the right way, but can't get there. Dortmund lead, Bayern down to 10, and we could be in trouble on just match day 3. Elise, lovely feet. I still trust our attack. Oh, naughty tackle that. That's got to be a card. That's the 3rd card of the game. Enzo Fernandez joins Alphonso Davies with a yellow, and of course the red for Matteo Maya. But we'll also see a substitution here. Unfortunately, Lopez is the man that has to be sacrificed, but Alexander Pavlovic coming on for his 2nd debut for the club means Mensah slides back one to centre-back and Pavlovic comes on in midfield. Of course, we're down to 10 men here, but I still trust our attack to create some opportunities. I've left Elise, Musiala and Baka out there, of course. And as I say, I trust those guys. I trust those guys. As Fonzie, oh, big save by Cabell. Yeah, we're underway in the 2nd half here, and we've done okay since the red card and the goal. We've still looked to get forward, but of course there's not as much space, and it's a lot more difficult with a man disadvantage. But we'll keep pushing. If we can rescue a point, as I sort of mentioned earlier, it'd be a fantastic result for us, but just really struggling to play our way through. But here comes Musiala. And Duzan and Sembaka, and the flag's up. It's a lovely Bayern Munich move, but Sembaka denied by the linesman's flag. Oh no, trouble. Mensah can't touch his man, and foul goes on. And what a strike to double Dortmund's lead. And to hit the knockout blow as Bayern Munich looks set to suffer their first defeat of the season. Mensah knew he couldn't touch him, and he did well to initially get back, but Fahl goes on, takes it on quite early and rifles it past Ronnie Schumacher to double Dortmund's lead. That will do it, and Dortmund will be leaving with all 3 points. Pavlovic into Rojas as we look to get one back. Brilliant by Rojas, and he does pull one back. Straight from kickoff, 5.5 to play, and Rojas has got us back in the game. Jan Nicholas Bester on his debut finds Pavlovic, and now Rojas going on. Rojas finds Sembaka. Oh, what a block! And I think the flag was up for offside. It wouldn't have counted anyway. And he's just a fraction offside once again. That will do it at the Allianz. A cracker of a game. But Borussia Dortmund will hold on for all 3 points and inflict our first defeat of the season in an absolute cracker of a Der Klassiker at the Allianz. The early red card for Maya completely changed the complexity of the game. But Dortmund win it by 2-1 to move themselves top of the Bundesliga. Right, guys, I think we'll close out with a few more. Next of which being our first game in the Champions League phase, where we're heading back to England to take on Tottenham, who were a big rival of ours during our time with Southampton. So really looking forward to this trip to North London. Of course, a ground that we quite often lost at, and we had a pretty torrid record against Postecoglou's side during our time. So I'm hoping that has not travelled with me to Germany, and we can pick up 3 points in match day 1. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, a few changes to the lineup for us, of course, tonight. I think our first 3 games in the league phase are quite important, because they're our 3 toughest games. So if we can get through them with some positive results, then we'll put ourselves in a good position for the rest of the league phase. But I do still want to give other players an opportunity tonight. So both our wide men have changed. We've seen a couple of changes in midfield. Bissek's back in at centre-back. So, yeah, changes, but still a very strong lineup. Oh, that's poor. That's poor. And we might be punished as Lautaro lets fly. And lets fly just wide of the far upright. And a striker of his quality, you wouldn't have been surprised if that had found the back of the net. That is a let-off. Dusan into Davis and now Federico. He stayed on side there, Federico, into the area. Been a game of few chances so far. Luna picks out Jamal Musiala, and that is a rocket. In a game of very few chances, finally has its first goal. And of course, it's Jamal Musiala, 3rd goal of the season. Of course, first in the Champions League, with it being match day 1. And that is a rocket past the Italian Vicario to open the scoring. Well, there's a free kick here for Spurs, 10 to play. There's been nothing really happening in the game in this second half. We've had a few sort of counter-attacks and half chances, but nothing really of note. Neither keeper forced into a save, and I was hoping it was going to sort of continue the rivalry in this game, but to be honest, it's been a little bit disappointing. But here is Martinez, and Martinez on the spin straight at Ronnie, and he palms it away as Spurs will look to sustain the attack. Martinez again into Rodri and Shaibi, and again Ronnie is there. We might even add a late second. Luna across the box to Marquez, and we do have a second, and it's Marquez's first of the campaign. Of course, still really back up to the main man Sem Baka, but such a great source of goals. Coming off the bench and stepping in for the Dutchman, and he secures the dagger here as we will leave North London with all 3 points. Right, well, jumping into our next game after a bit of a damp squib there. Heidenheim up next away from home. They're currently unbeaten with 1 win and 2 draws to kick off the campaign. But Borussia Dortmund 3 from 3 and currently leading the way at the top of the Bundesliga. So we need to make sure we get back to winning ways here after that defeat at the Allianz. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, of course, good to get back to winning ways in midweek. With how form is in FC, you don't want to extend any losing run, no matter how small, even if it's just 1 game. You don't want to extend it any further than that. So back to winning ways in midweek, and now looking to get back to winning ways in the Bundesliga on the weekend. And I wouldn't be surprised if this man is to be back on the score sheet today with the start to the season that he has had. He has been absolutely electric as that cross comes in, looking for Lopez, and Heidenheim will clear. Well, second half's underway here. Really frustrating first 45, where Heidenheim have been the better side. We've not really been caused any threats at the back, but they've defended so well, Heidenheim. We've not been able to find a way through, forced an early save out of the keeper. But other than that, we have created absolutely nothing as Elise lines one up and again forces an early save out of the keeper. Not many teams keep us out since we've moved to Germany and Bayern Munich, but Heidenheim looking to do so here. Oh, but Dusan pinches the ball back, and that's great running by Kovacevic, and he finds Lopez. Defender did well to hold him up. There is Sem Baka, and Elise! Well, I said not many teams keep us out, and Heidenheim won't be doing so here. Michael Elise with his 2nd of the season into the roof of the net opens the scoring for Bayern Munich. Boe down the line for Elise. And space to turn and space to drive into as well. Elise going on and finding Lopez, and Sem Baka for 2. Has it crossed the line? Yes, it has. Sem's back on the score sheet in the Bundesliga, and it rifles in off the underside of the crossbar, bounces back out. You don't see that too often. Bit of a collector's item, but the referee's watch buzzes, and Bayern lead by 2. Merlin forward to Luna. Is there time for a late third? Federico going on. Still Luna. And Jan Nicholas for 3. Seals it with a cherry on top. The new man, Jan Nicholas Bester. Not really brought in to be a goal scorer, but rounds off what has been a fantastic performance with a brilliant third. And Bayern Munich back to winning ways in the Bundesliga. What a brilliant performance here in Heidenheim in this second half. Alright then guys, that is where we will leave it for today's video, with quite a lot of action jam-packed in today. The opening games of the Bundesliga campaign, and of course a few more signings to close out the transfer window. Currently sat in second place behind Borussia Dortmund, who of course suffered our only defeat of the campaign, but still a long way to go, and we'll be back in the next episode. Now that we are through the summer transfer window, I want to really crack on with the sort of sloggy season part of this campaign and get into the latter stages, which is easier in Germany with just one domestic cup and less league fixtures. So gonna really crack on in the next one with lots of big games, kicking off with another big title clash as we take on Leverkusen at the Allianz. I'll catch you for that in the next episode very soon, guys. Take care and peace.